Zubrod Percherons with Kansas leading the way. Our gates are closing on the rail at the trot, please. Miss Kansas will be starting our reverse at the gate side with the Zubrod entry. Again, our drivers making that diagonal cut, changing the direction that everyone is working in the arena. We're going to come down to the walk. Everybody has made that reverse, so we're now going to come down to the walk. Back into the trot, please. Drivers back to the trot. The Zubrod entry will start our lineup. When you get down to Merv, we will be lining up with the Zubrod entry. And ladies and gentlemen, a nice round of applause for heat number 1 of our Mare Unicorn hitch. This is just the first heat. We are going to have a total of 3 heats to this, again showcasing our mares in the unicorns. Again, we have 3 divisions to our Mare Unicorn. We'll be placing our top 10 entries. The Unicorn hitch, oftentimes said one of the more difficult hitches for our drivers, as they must keep that lead horse stepping freely out front. Again, that lead horse must lead this hitch. If it goes too slow, it is going to be bumped. If it goes too strong and too powerful, and those traces are too tight where it's pulling the whole load, that is going to be something that the judge will knock them down for. So you need a very confident horse that works out front, leading this hitch around the arena. In this class, it is the females, the mares, that are being driven. All right, we are going to be opening the gates and we're going to start dismissing this. We're going to start out to your right with Farmington Express. Patrick, if you would make your way out to the right, please. All right, as soon as it is safe, we're going to send in our second heat. Again, a total of 3 divisions to this class featuring our Mare Unicorns, 3 total heats. Our judge again, Mr. Mark Berry, joining us from East Bethany, New York. Jackson Fork Ranch leading our second division. Blue Ribbon Days making their way in next. Schreiber Pertrans making their way in with the Rush River entry. Silver Oak Pertrans joining us from Manitoba. Windermere Farms in as well. That is your second division on the rail at the trot, please. On the rail at the trot. Jackson Fork will be starting our reverse. When you get in the corner, Reese will be starting that reverse. And we're going to bring you down to the walk, please. Down to the walk. And moving back at the trot, please. Our judge watching to see that these horses quickly respond, that they go from that steady walk back into the trot quickly. The Jackson Fork entry will be starting our lineup as they come down to Merv's direction. We'll be lining up our second division at this time. Heat number 2 now gracing our arena. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a nice round of applause. Our Mare Unicorn class is sponsored by Wilson Farms, joining us from Ontario. They are also silver sponsors of our World Perch Run Congress. They operate a commercial grain elevator, marketing grain to customers around the world. In addition to their global grain merchandising, they run a row crop farming operation, a commercial trucking business, and maintain a commercial cow-calf herd. The Wilson family has been deeply rooted in agriculture for generations with a 5-generation legacy in draft horses. Buying, selling, and working with horses is just not part of their business. It is their proud family tradition. So thank you going out to the Wilson family, joining us from Ontario as our sponsor for this class. We did have a very honest guest find a little bit of cash laying around the arena. So if any of the kids had some spending money in their pocket or something and have lost their cash, come up and tell me how much it was. And we did have an honest guest turn some money in. We will have one more section to our Mare Unicorn, and then we're going to set the stage for the gelding teams with the lady drivers. Our judge, Mr. Mark Berry, now has seen everyone in this division. Again, reviewing each entry, looking at the horses, the harness, the wagon, everything being presented by our exhibitor, watching them working on the rail, studying their action, their movement, all part of our judging of our draft horses. As our wagons do make their way in and out of the arena, you will see some of them have banners on the back. Those are our wagon sponsors, and without those sponsors and all of our sponsors, our show would not be possible. We're going to open the gates, and we're going to start with the Windermere entry. Hammer's going to make his way out first. Windermere Farms, joining us from Pennsylvania. Fedora Farms making their way out next from Cassopolis, Michigan. Jana doing the driving. Silver Oak Perch Wrens making their way out next. Joining us from Manitoba with Ethan exhibiting. Schreiber Perch Wrens, Rush River with Brad Schreiber doing the driving. Followed by the entry of Blue Ribbon Days with Dean driving and Miss Sage waving. And our final entry making their way out, Jackson Fork Ranch with Reese doing the driving. One more heat to make their way in the Mare Unicorn. One more heat. As I said, one more division, and then we'll place this class and move into our gelding teams with the lady drivers. Our ground crew making sure everyone in and out safely. We appreciate all their hard work. And heat number 3 making their way in. Hanson Perch Wrens making their way in first. Jared on the lines. Followed by the Penwood Perch Wrens, entry 1413. Mr. Chad Cole piloting that hitch. The Strain family entry, joining us from Manitoba with Dylan next into the arena. Red Oak Farms making their way in. Followed by the Blackbrook Perch Wrens. That is our heat. Drivers on the rail at the trot, please. Mr. Jared Hansen going to be starting our reverse at the gate side. As you make your way around, we are going to start reversing. And we're going to bring you down to the walk, please. Drivers down to the walk. And moving you back at the trot. We're going to space you on the rail back at the trot, please. We will be lining up with the Hansen entry. As you make your way around to Merv's direction, we are lining up. And a nice round of applause for our third and final heat in the registered Mare Unicorn class. As we continue to thank our sponsors, one of our generous wagon sponsors is the Kaufman Farms Percherons. They have bred quality Percherons for 30 years. If you are looking for a Percheron horse, I'm sure they have one for you. Mare, gelding, or stallions for sale at all times. If you're looking for a show horse, prospects, or breeding stock, give them a call and they will help you out. Again, thank you to Kaufman Farms Percherons. Mr. Mark Berry, our judge, now making his decision on those hitches that he's going to be seeing. We are going to be placing our top 10 entries throughout our Perch Run Congress, our top 10 entries. We're going to open the gates, and we're going to start with the Blackbrook Perch Runs. Mr. David Larson making his way out to the right. And then our ground crew will be getting our drive-off contenders and our top 10 back to the arena. But at this time, again, let's give them a nice round of applause. Blackbrook Perch Runs, David Larson. Red Oak Farms with Mr. Wishay Bush doing the driving, joining us from Quebec. The Strain family joining us from Manitoba with Dylan. Penwood Perch Runs making the trip from Pennsylvania with Mr. Chad Cole. And your local team from Chatfield, Minnesota, it is the Hanson Perch Runs with Jared. We are going to be, again, getting those scorecard from our judge, making the call on those that we're going to be seeing back in for a drive-off. You're going to see that throughout our Perch Run Congress. When these classes are split into different divisions, our judge would like an opportunity for certain hitches to drive against another hitch. And if they were split into different groups, again, he will call some of them back in to see that they do go head-to-head against each other in at least a couple rounds here in the arena. So as soon as we have those names and numbers, we will let you know. We'll be ready to place our class featuring our Perch Run Mare Unicorn. Our judge has asked to see 4 entries working for our final drive-off. We're going to have 4 entries. Hope your favorite has made the cut. All right, we are working to get our drive-off contenders in here. Give you a little tease. Anyone here from Pennsylvania? You're going to be happy. Anybody from Colorado? You're going to be happy. Wyoming. You're going to be real happy. Indiana? No Indiana? Anybody from Germany? You're going to be happy. 4 entries making their way in for the Mare Unicorn. Iowa. Anybody Iowa? All right. That's more than 4, but if you know me, you know who one of those were. I promise our ground crew is working diligently to kind of maneuver to get these hitches back in. In your drive off, let's welcome Mr. Enos Yoder and the Yoder Family Hay Company. Joining us from West Cliff, Colorado. Mr. Reese Mangles on the line for Jackson Fork Ranch, joining us from Little Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Blue Ribbon Days representing Iowa, somewhat Indiana, Missouri, and Germany. One more representing Pennsylvania. That is the entry of Penwood Percherons. Drivers on the rail at the trot. Enos will be starting our reverse. The Yoder Family Hay Company starting our reverse. And we are going to be lining up on this lap with the Yoder entry. We will be lining up. And let's give a nice round of applause to that very powerful drive off in our Mare Unicorn class. As I said, we are placing our top 10 throughout our show from now on. So the top 10 coming in these open classes. We are ready to welcome back in 6 more entries that will be in for our final placings, including the ground pounder perch runs with Joe Dolan. Arcola Ranch joining us from Arizona with Leon Yoder. Kansas Zubrod doing the driving for the Zubrod perch runs. Windermere Farms with Mr. Hammer doing the driving. Red Oak Farms joining us from Canada with Wishay Bush doing the driving. Hanson Perch Runs from Chatfield, Minnesota. Ladies and gentlemen, give them a nice round of applause, a beautiful turnout of our perch run Mare Unicorns. We are going to be welcoming our ribbon party into the arena, and we are going to be placing this class as we can have our visiting royalty joining us. Wilson Farms, our sponsor in this class, Miss Oakley Wilson, coming to help our queens make the presentation. We're welcoming Jada Lynn Beckson and Bethany Bowling. We have in 10th place today, ladies and gentlemen, it is entry number 4001. Number 4001 is the Hanson Perch Runs. Jared Hanson and crew joining us right here from Chatfield, Minnesota. All right, our 9th place today, entry number 2808, that is Arcola Ranch. That is the entry joining us from Santan Valley, Arizona with Leon Yoder. In 8th place today, entry number 1310, the entry of Zubrod Pertrens, joining us from Guthrie, Oklahoma, with Miss Kenseth Zubrod exhibiting. In 7th place, the award going to number 2292, Windermere Farms. Gerald, Melissa, and Hammer Allebach joining us from Spring Mills, Pennsylvania. In 6th place today, the award is going to go to number 2442, Red Oak Farms, joining us from Quebec, Canada, Mr. Wishy Bush, the owner and the driver. Our 5th place award, number 2611, that is the Ground Pounders Pertrens, owned by the Fagan family. They join us from Granite Falls, Minnesota, with Mr. Joe Dolan doing the driving. Fourth place to number 1413, that is the Penwood Pertren entry, owned by the Cole family. Joining us from Center Hall, Pennsylvania, Mr. Chad Cole driving. Our 3rd place award today is going to entry number 1771. That is the entry of Jackson Fork Ranch. Jackson Fork Ranch joining us from Little Jackson Hole, Wyoming, with Reese Mangles doing the driving. Our reserve and our champion left in the arena. Ladies and gentlemen, the reserve champion today is entry number 1471, Yoder Hay and Horses from West Cliff, Colorado. Mr. Enos Yoder doing the driving. Congratulations. And the blue ribbon and the world title of your champion, Mare Unicorn. Congratulations to entry number 1260. That is the entry of Blue Ribbon Days. That entry co-owned by Jim Day, Albert Clevey, and the Ditmars, with Mr. Dean Woodbury doing the driving, his granddaughter Sage, his assistant up there, and ladies and gentlemen, that fancy yellow wagon coming around for the world title. We are welcoming Oakley Wilson to the arena. Oakley is going to help make the presentation on behalf of Wilson Farms. We are welcoming, again, Miss Oakley Wilson on behalf of Wilson Farms, our class sponsor, and Bethany and Jada Lynn. Looks like Miss Oakley is going to get a victory pass. She's going to climb up there beside Sage. Dean always willing to lend a helping hand. We're going to get Oakley up there representing Wilson Farms. And we're going to turn the arena over to Mr. Dean Woodbury, your champion Mare Unicorn Hitch. Congratulations. Make sure to let them know we appreciate it as they make their way around your champion, Mare Unicorn. Congratulations.